So how do you create a group that's small enough that you can build deep trust, with with some sort of criteria? So for us, that was about organizations doing work in multiple counties, committed to the state long term, and centering a racial justice analysis. But I think we've been partnering. We partner with organizations within counties, or convene kind of local statewide alignment group partners, or partner with organizations on specific strands of work. So with Florida Rights Restoration Coalition on Amendment 4, the Miami Workers Center on the Fem Agenda, which is kind of really thinking through what's the constellation of organizations that you need to build a long-term plan and vision, and then what does partnership with other parts of the ecosystem look like?
When Hurricane Irma hit Florida, right, and it went through a large swath of the entire state, right? So it impacted South, Middle, North, you name it. And I say that was a shining moment for SWAG in its simplicity, was the ability to communicate through our partnership that where government is failing, we're going to ultimately have to step up and step in, right? In the most basic of ways. And what I mean by that is just getting a series of grills and charcoal and hot dogs and hamburgers, and literally going out and feeding entire segments of the community. I think we ended up ultimately feeding several thousand.
Like 10, 20,000.
Yeah, 7,000 families statewide. And, that kind of in a nutshell summed up to me what the greatest potential of SWAG could be, which is a resource for people who are oftentimes left out of the conversation. Because the follow-up conversation, at least in Miami-Dade, was that government was applauding itself and patting itself on the back for doing a great job, when in reality we were seeing people who were literally boxed out, and thought that they were going to be forgotten. People who literally thought they were going to die in that 1 to 2 week period, while at the same time seeing the contrast of folks who are in these positions with millions and billions of dollars of resources, making it seem as though everything was just hunky-dory, is a constant reminder of A, the challenges that we face, B, the work that we have to do as an organization, but C, and I think, as I mentioned before, what our greatest successes could be if everything works responsibly, right? It's almost felt like you had two cans with strings attached, with a string attached in the middle, one spanning from Miami to Jacksonville, because we kind of felt that level of being cut off. It felt that real, but at the same time, we were able to communicate through whatever means to get that word out and get that mobilization effort happening in 24, 48 hours after a storm, which is remarkable considering we're not first responders. We're not highly trained technicians. We're just folks concerned about the communities that we live in.
Well, and I think the storm was also a real example of how do we engage in short-term or immediate fights that help advance our longer-term vision, and make some material gains. I mean, we ended up suing the USDA and Department of Children and Families on their failure to provide accommodation to people with disabilities and seniors for emergency food stamp benefits. They had people waiting in the hot sun for over 8 hours. And we got over $4 million in additional food stamp benefits to families in Florida. Absolutely. And we're able to set some important historic precedents, removing obstacles from an emergency SNAP in the future.